Welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Kyle Case, and I'll be your host on this amazing journey as we attempt to help you get the most out of your life. Today's guest, at 83 years old, Kay Grundhaus, stays busier than many people half her age. A longtime hairstylist, realtor, world traveler, and community volunteer, she is also the proud mother of 4 children, the grandmother of 10, and the great-grandmother of 14. Following a period of reduced activity during the COVID years, Kay joined a local walking group to get active again, and a chance invitation to a free pickleball lesson changed everything. One lesson was all it took for her to fall in love with the sport, opening the door to new friendships, competitions, and travel opportunities. Now entering her 3rd year of pickleball, she plans to return this year to the Huntsman World Senior Games with a new partner and to compete in 4 different events. Beyond pickleball, Kay also enjoys kayaking, hiking, e-bike riding, and 5K races. A 37-year member of the Kiwanis Club, she hopes to inspire other women in their 80s to stay active, adventurous, and engaged. Kay, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. That was a great introduction.
Well, I'm only telling the truth. I mean, this is stuff that you've done, and you've obviously lived a very full and fulfilling life. I want to start us off, Kay, by talking about this pickleball. Well, we're going to kind of bounce around all over the place,
Okay.
but you played sports and kind of been active at different times in your life. COVID kind of threw a wrench in everybody's life. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it goes without saying to say that. But you kind of really jumped into pickleball and really embraced it. It only took one lesson. What was it about the sport and that first lesson that really pulled you into the sport of pickleball?
That's a really hard question because I had never even heard of pickleball. I had no idea what it was even about or anything. And I had played a little tennis, but I didn't know it was that closely even related to tennis. Like I said, I knew nothing. So I just went with an open mind to that first lesson. And I think the first lesson, I did take a few more after that, but it seems like I was just hooked immediately. And to this day, I warn people, don't, don't try it. You might get addicted
You
because I
know,
certainly am.
Kay, that is one of the things that we hear over and over about pickleball, especially. Certainly, it could apply to any sport, but we just hear that in pickleball. And there seems to be some kind of magnetic pull to people into this sport. You had a couple of lessons, and you just said, "Hey, this is my thing. This is what I'm going
Yeah.
to do." What is it specifically about pickleball that kind of keeps you coming back time after time?
Well, a lot of it's the people, I think. Really nice people, meeting new people. When you get older, you're a senior, you don't have opportunities to meet a lot of people. And so it just gave me an opportunity to meet more people, make new friends with the same common interest. So that's I think the best part about it.
Well, and it really is. And we're talking about pickleball specifically, and it certainly does that in pickleball. I think we have found over the years at the Huntsman World Senior Games that many sports allow for that same opportunity, but pickleball does seem to have a very social aspect to it. You haven't been playing for all that long, only about 3 or 4 years. Do you
Yeah.
have do you have a favorite pickleball experience?
Um, I had, well, a fun experience. There's been so many. I like to tell a story about going to the Huntsman. Um, I didn't ever have a partner. I just went online and said, I need a partner because I had trouble finding somebody in my age group to play with. And, it's a lot easier to play when you're my age with somebody in your age group. Anyway, I feel like at least you have a little bit of a chance, more of a chance. Um, so uh, I got a partner. He chose me. He was like a national champion or something and been in all kinds of things. So it was a really uh, great opportunity for me to go there and play with him. But I also had women doubles. And um, I would just meet the person right there. But when we started to play the actual tournament, I noticed that the other women were like dressed alike, or, they were really close friends, which to me was a little bit, oh my gosh, intimidating, because here I had just met my partner,
Right.
and it was obvious they were either, after talking to them, they were either related, lived close to each other, played together all the time. So right then I said, oh my gosh, we're in trouble. So I want to go now. I have a partner for the first time, and we're practicing now. So I want to go with this partner. And I said, we got to dress alike. We got to learn how to play together good and practice before the game. So
I
another,
think,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
Well, another incident was, I think it was the second year I went. I went with this a guy that I had played with here for mixed doubles, and there was this lady and her partner, and I looked at her and I said, after the game, I said, she could hardly walk, for one thing. She had a cute little hat and she was dressed real cute. And I said, boy, we got this in the bag. Wrong, wrong. She was 95 years old. After the game, I said, how old are you? How long have you been playing? She goes, 45 years. So I'm wondering if she'll be there this year. I'll have to look her up.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that. That's part of the fun of the Huntsman World Senior Games, is connecting and then reconnecting with people
Yes,
as you come back and
yes.
participate. I really appreciate your sharing of the story, because I think that it exemplifies so many great things about senior sports, about pickleball, about the Huntsman World Senior Games. But that idea of connecting with somebody that really has the same the same goals, the same ideals. We know that especially, and I'm not going to say exclusively, but especially among the women, the uniform, the dressing the same, wearing the same colors, like
Yeah,
it's a fun aspect. It's a fun part of the
it
games.
is.
And then you
Yeah.
also talked about something that I think a lot of people maybe haven't heard of yet or aren't aware of. But sometimes people choose to not participate in the games because they think that they don't have a partner. And we do have a tool on our website called Partner Finder, where people can go on and say, hey, these are my skill sets. These are the things I'm good at. These are the things that maybe I need some work on, or whatever. And then you can get connected with people. And I will admit and agree, Kay, that it does feel a little bit intimidating that first time when you walk up to a complete stranger, and the next thing you know, you're involved in a blood feud on the on the courts with your opponents. But isn't it also a really fun way to just meet new people?
Well, too, the second year I went, the good experience was my partner and I were the only ones that were in our age group. So guess what that meant?
You got a medal.
We got a we still got to play. We played down with the next group, but yeah, so that was totally unexpected, and it was nice. So, it was nice.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to be able to take some hardware home. And
Yeah,
it is true, as we get into those older age groups, the more
right.
experienced athletes, it is sometimes hard to find the competition.
Mm.
But you know what? I feel like this year you're not going to be disappointed. From what I understand of the registrations in pickleball as they're coming in, I think we're going to have some 80 plus people for you to play.
I hope so. I know they're out there, but
Yeah.
I found that a lot of people my age, they don't want to compete. They're kind of afraid of competing, and they go, "Why
Yeah.
aren't you afraid of competing?" I said, "I don't know. It's just I like it. I like to be. I'm mostly competing against myself, because I want to be better.
And
It's
that's the
not that I
fun
can
part of it.
compete with them. Yeah, so it's not that I want to win. I want to play good. I want to play well.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Well, and I appreciate that as a goal for as an athlete and as someone who has embraced the culture and wants to get better. And that's not to say that you set aside the ability or the desire to have fun and to meet new people and
Right.
take
Right.
full advantage of the social aspect of the sport and of the games as a whole. But yeah, I mean, you're showing up to play. You want to play your best, you want to win. And if you can put some medals around your neck in that
So be it.
process, take those with you on your way home. That's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. You
Yeah.
brought up an interesting point, though. I'm curious if you could go back in time and talk to yourself of, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, would that person be surprised or unsurprised at the course that your life has taken, especially with the pickleball?
Oh, definitely surprised. I had no idea, no idea. But one thing I do is I always go for it. It seems like new things, new experiences. I'd be afraid, just like I was afraid to do this even, but I do it because you once you do it, you find out, wow, that wasn't so bad, or I could do this. And so it just builds your confidence to even expand even more. So that's kind of what's happened to me. I really grown, I think, a lot and respected in my community, which is just overwhelming. I have people saying, "Oh, you're so inspiring. I hope I can play when I'm your age," and blah blah blah. And that is just really something that I totally unexpected, but is so rewarding. And so this made me want to reach out to more people if I can. Why not?
Hey, let me just add to that. You are inspiring. You're an inspiration, and you're such a great example of just embracing life fully, not sitting on the sidelines, but jumping right in, even in the face of things that might stretch you, that might put you outside of your comfort zone. As you said, there is a little bit of fear involved. One of the things that I have found in my interaction with athletes, and certainly in my own life as well, is that fear, the initial fear is the hardest thing to overcome, but familiarity breeds confidence. So if you can get past that very first step, after that you get familiar with it, that confidence grows, that courage grows, it becomes easier. I've talked to a lot of athletes. One of my favorites is my wife, but she said when she started competing in the Huntsman World Senior Games, the very hardest thing that she did was to go to the website and click on register. That was the hardest thing. That was so scary for her. And once she did that, just that act of clicking on that button, filling out the forms, registering for the games, after that, she felt like, you know what? I'm already in and I can do this. And it's made a difference in her life. And it's certainly made a difference in our lives. And I know that it's made a difference in your life as well.
Yeah, even to this day, some people can be intimidating, and you think, well, they don't probably want to play with me because I'm not as good as they are. But, I go and sometimes you have to push myself to go someplace where I don't know everybody and just put yourself out there. And I'd say almost 99% of the time, it's okay. It's good. It ends up being good, you know?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. 99% of the time, there's that 1% that might be a little bit of a challenge.
So I
Uh,
avoid them.
al- it almost always turns out, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's amazing because I say, well, the worst could happen. I'll just leave, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
never left
and
yet.
that is always an option, right? That is always an option.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Yeah.
happened yet, but that is always an option. I want to talk a little bit about your family and your life leading up to this point where you're at right now. 83 years old, playing pickleball, really enjoying and embracing that sport. You do a lot of other things, as we said in our introduction, but you did spend a significant part of your life focusing on your children, and now you got grandchildren and even great grandchildren. But what is it about this stage in your life that you feel has allowed you to kind of really focus in on kind of me time, on K time, things that you've wanted to do and now you're able to do?
Well, sometimes I feel selfish because, when you're raising your family, you're always doing what everybody wants you to do or expects you to do. You rarely get a chance to do what you want to do. So and that was really my own feeling. I don't think that my kids made me feel that way. I think it just came from me feeling like, oh, I shouldn't do that because, blah, blah, blah. That's being selfish of me. But I think around 80, I decided, hey, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to get the opportunity. And they are all supportive of me. They all are thinking it's great that I'm out here doing this. They're surprised, just like I am, but they're all very supportive of me.
Well, Kay, I think that's fantastic. And I can only imagine that there is just that level of love and support. And, let's cheer grandma on, let's cheer mom on and make sure that she knows that we love her. I think that's fantastic. Speaking of that, I want to talk a little bit, at least, about your walking club and the support and camaraderie and community that comes from that. How were you introduced to the walking club that you are a part of now?
It's a meetup that I signed up for in my community, South Bay Walking and Hiking Group, because, like I said, I was so out of shape after COVID. And I wanted to get back into shape. And so I thought I'd start out with walking. And I joined this group, and that's how I found out about pickleball. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I kind of play more pickleball than I do walking or hiking. But every now and then I get together with them. And besides the walking and hiking, we do other things. We went to the Santa Barbara Wine Festival on a train. We go kayaking once a Friday a month, and they do e-bike riding. So I'm just with like-minded people, mostly younger than me, but they're mostly retired too, and we do all these interesting things together that I never even thought about doing. So I just have a complete mixture of everything I do, and I love it all. I can't do enough.
It sounds like such a great and fun community that you
Yeah.
get to be a part of, and I'm
Yes.
certain that you're benefiting from that,
Yeah.
social interaction, the friendships, the camaraderie, but I
Sure.
also can tell that you are also contributing to it as well,
Thank
and,
you.
I think that's a lot of fun. Do you think you'd be where you are right now if you hadn't have taken the step to join this group?
No, I don't know where I would have been. I'm sure I would have been in a good place because
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident. Sorry about the siren there. I'm pretty confident about I would have been someplace. I'm not sure where, but I'm in a really good place right now. So I'm just gonna take that in and this is it. I mean, this isn't it, but I mean, I'm just gonna enjoy it while I'm here because we all know it's not gonna last forever.
Well, it doesn't, right? That's
Right.
one of
Till
the
it doesn't.
very few guarantees in life is that
Right.
it will
Right.
come to an end.
Right.
I want to talk a little about your traveling. You've been able to do some traveling, even world traveling. You visited multiple continents.
Mhm.
Again, maybe some of that has come a little bit later in life because of free time and resources and things like that. But how do you think that traveling has contributed to your overall well-being, your view on life, and the way that you interact with life?
Well, I've been to places and actually I travel with a lot of pickleball people, that I met them to travel with. So that's important to have people you travel with. Uh, I went to countries like, say, India, and people would say, "Why did you want to go there?" And I'm like, Because they asked me to go." So I went, and I'm just like amazed at how big the world is and all the people and their culture, and it's really educational, and I feel like I'm just learning all this new stuff. I come home and I talk about these countries, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that." And I didn't know a lot. Like, I think in school I didn't pay much attention to history. So I'm really enjoying it now, and I'm wanting to be out there and do it while I can still do it, while I can walk around, because you have to be able to do a lot of things that are challenging sometimes.
There can definitely be a physical element to travel for sure,
Definitely,
especially if you're gonna get
definitely.
out off the beaten path a little bit. I'm
Mhm.
wondering if you have a favorite vacation or a favorite spot that you visited?
Well, India was very, very impressive. And I went with a girl that I play pickleball with. So, and I just got back from the Philippines like last week. And that was amazing too. I mean, I'm thinking people were saying, "Why do you want to go to the Philippines?" And I like, because I want to experience new things. And I was so impressed with the Philippines. And I'm saying, there's this and that. And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that." So, I feel like I'm passing on some of my, maybe encouraging them to want to do this too. I have a trip planned next month to Vietnam. And it's like, I kind of got this trip going. There's 5 of us going to Vietnam. And when I started this, nobody wanted to go to Vietnam. Now they're all saying, I want to go. I want to go. So
Well,
it's,
you are, okay, you are definitely an example of someone who is living the active life, but also just fully embracing life, period. And man, you don't hold back. When you want to go on an adventure, you go on an adventure, don't you?
I do. I do.
I think that's so fun and so exciting. And safe travels in your upcoming excursion to Vietnam. And hopefully, I can run into you while you're here in St. George. And you can tell me all about the things that you
Oh,
learned
yeah.
there in
Yeah.
Vietnam.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Now, in addition to travel, when you're at home, you're not just sitting on the couch, flipping through channels. You're still very engaged. In fact, you still do a little bit of hairstyling these days.
I do. In fact, I have an appointment after this to go cut
Okay.
somebody's and it's time to renew my real estate license. And so I've been working on that. I haven't been able to have much fun with the TV. I have to review and 45 hours of, yeah, to get my
Right. Yeah.
license renewed. But I want to do it. I want to do it for sure because I am still doing some real estate transactions.
So, what do you think it is about staying engaged, both professionally as well as socially, that has contributed to your life?
Well, I think it just keeps my brain alive, and I feel like I'm using my brain with everything, everything. I said, like pickleball, it's easy to play pickleball, but it's hard to be good. And you
You have
know,
nailed it, right? You have nailed it. It's a sport that is easy to pick up, but you got to put some time into it if you want to be good at it.
yeah, I'm still taking lessons, coaching lessons. I've taken a lot, and I'm still taking them because I'm just trying to be better, to be as good as I can at my age.
Which I think is very admirable. I think that's fantastic. There is one other aspect of your life that I want to touch on, if we can. We talked about the Kiwanis Club, and we know, Kiwanis is such a great driver for service in local communities, and certainly you've been a part of that for 37 years.
Yeah.
How has volunteering added to the richness and the tapestry of your overall life as well?
Again, it's meeting a lot of people, working with people, traveling with people. Like I just went to the Philippines. It was a Kiwanis International Convention. That's why I went. And I went with a girl from the Philippines. It's part of our group, and a guy from the Taiwan. He's Taiwanese. And I went with them over there. So and now I'm getting ready to go to the district convention for Kiwanis at in Reno, Nevada, with another Kiwanian. And so also I have to tell you that I am membership chairman right now. I've been a president and all, I've been through all
The
the
leadership
officers.
roles,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But right now I'm in membership. And so I have got a reputation for inviting the most people to our group meetings. We meet every week for lunch, and I invite more people than anybody in the whole club.
Somehow, Kay, I'm just going to say this. Somehow that does not surprise me. I, I am not overly surprised by that. I think your personality lends itself very well to that. You're so friendly, so easy to talk to, so gregarious, and I think that's fantastic. And hey, let's be honest. There are so many health as well as social, as well as mental, emotional benefits to being involved in community, to serving your fellow man.
Yeah.
And I think there are many opportunities to do that. Certainly, service clubs are one of those ways, and Kiwanis is definitely a great way forward. I just to kind of wrap us up here really quickly. I want to ask you to jump into a time machine with me, and we're going to travel ahead 10 years. So you're 93. How do you think you will look back on the last 10 years based on the trajectory that you have going right now?
I did it my way. Today I played pickleball with a 90-year-old guy. And I'm like, he was pretty good. And I
Yeah.
want to be you, So I aspire to be playing pickleball when I'm 93.
Well, I hope that you definitely are doing that, and it would not surprise me in the slightest if that is still the case. Maybe even still out there traveling to the remote locations of the world, learning more, feeling engaged and activated, and a part of the larger community that is, the human race, which I think is just fantastic. And as I said before, very inspirational and very admirable. And Kay, we want to thank you so much for that example. And thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thank you very much. It's been fun.
We look forward to seeing you in October here at the Huntsman World Senior Games.
Yeah, me too.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things to wrap us up here. We are more than halfway through the month of July. Time really is flying by. Early bird registration ends on August 1st. So don't miss your chance to save some money. Get yourself registered, secure your spot in the Huntsman World Senior Games this year. You can do that, as well as find all the information that you need to know about the games, including the dates, the venues, the divisions, the rules. Everything you need to know is at seniorgames.net. The games this year run from October 5th through the 17th of 2026. So put that on your calendar and come and be a part of the games this year. Next week, we're going to be joined by Leona Shurtleff, a 2025 Huntsman World Senior Games Hall of Fame inductee and a 30-year games athlete, from competing alongside her father as part of the game's first father-daughter track and field duo to inspiring a family legacy of sports and service through her 12 children. Leona's story is a powerful reminder that active aging really can span generations. Don't miss that show. If you've enjoyed this show, and we hope that you have, be sure to get all the education and inspiration from The Active Life by subscribing wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also find this and previous shows on our website, which is, once again, seniorgames.net. We'd love it if you would take a moment and give us a rating or write a quick review. That could really help us spread the word about the show as well as about the games. Today's inspirational thought, it comes from the American actress and comedian Tina Fey, who once said, "There are no mistakes, only opportunities." Until next time, stay active.